Question 4. So, team sports. So, ang PE natin is volleyball. So, our agenda is first yung platform to use for the asynchronous and synchronous method. Then second, schedule of video conferencing. Then third is yung virtual classroom rules and etiquette. Then yung fourth, course learning objectives, expectation, outcomes, and content. Then yung five is yung course requirements and grading system. Then proceed tayo sa chapter 1 ng volleyball. So, platform to use for the asynchronous and synchronous method. So, yung napili kong platforms is yung number 1 is yung Facebook group, then Facebook Messenger, then Google Meet. So, hindi ko na ginamit yung Google Classroom para, dahil yung mga ibang estudyante, minsan, nawawala yung mga gawa nila doon. So, sa Facebook groups na lang. Then, doon na lang ako magpo-post ng mga activity natin sa Facebook group. Then, kapag sa mga announcements naman, doon sa Facebook Messenger, then kapag synchronous tayo sa Google Meet. So, yung new guideline enhancing OVPA Advisory number 1 school year 2020. So, student using the correspondent learning mode may be allowed to sit in or attend video conferencing session of the course they are officially enrolled. So, tanong ko lang dito kung sino yung mga correspondents. May correspondence ba dito sa inyo? Meron? So, kung may
Meron
mga
po.
correspondent, pwede silang makisit in or attend. Then, kapag kaya naman nilang gumawa ng activity online, so mas madali yon. Then, kapag hindi naman kaya or hindi talaga kaya ng mga, or wala talaga silang internet, ibibigay ko na lang yung soft copy ng module para mas ano kagad nila, masagutan. And matignan kagad nila. So yung mga hindi kayang mag-online class, so they will submit the course requirements of the correspondence mode and hence will be assessed for the same mode as stipulated in the one-page course instruction with the pouch of printed instructional materials. So yung mga regular online students naman will attend video conference session from their home only. So schedule of video conferencing. So the first and third week of the month will be the discussion of the lesson 2 platform that we are going to use. Then the second and fourth weeks of the month will be the time for you to accomplish the given submission of your given activity. So lagi lang tayo mag-meet kapag first and third week ng month. Then second and fourth weeks naman kapag yung second and fourth weeks ng month, doon kayo gagawa ng activity or doon nyo ipapasa yung activity. So minsan di tayo masyadong mag-synchronous dahil kaya naman ibigay yung video or kaya naman i-explain sa video yon. So kapag may tanong, pwede namang magtanong sa GC natin. So yung visual classroom rules, number 1 is log in 15 minutes before the start of the virtual class session. Then second is wear your appropriate proper attire during class hours. Then third, students are muted while the discussion is ongoing. Then yung fourth, always check your Facebook Messenger, yung group chat, so to be updated with the reminders, assignment, and announcements. Then yung five, question will be entertained after the discussion. Then six, make sure you are not interrupted in your surroundings. So yung 10 etiquette guidelines, na-discuss naman sa inyo yung mga professors nyo last time. Pasada lang natin. So number 1 is no yelling, please. So there's a time, and place for everything. So but in most situations, typing in all caps is inappropriate. Then second, sarcasm can inbuild backfire. So sarcasm has been the source of plenty of arguments, as the commenter's intent is it too difficult to understand. So don't abuse the chat box. So chat box are incorporated into many online classes as well, placed to share ideas and questions. Then yung fourth, attempt to find your own answer. Then yung 5, stop grammar time. Then yung 6 is set a respectful tone. Then 7, submit files the right way. 8, read first. Then 9, think before you type. And then last, be kind and professional. So yung course learning objectives, expectation, outcomes, and content. So develop motor skills, acquire necessary knowledge through physical activities, and cultivate positive values and attitudes for the development of an active and healthy lifestyle. Then demonstrate movement skills in in volleyball activities with ease and competence. Then promote desirable moral behaviors, cooperation in communal life, ability to make decisions, and the appreciation of aesthetic movement. Then develop basic competence and confidence to face different challenges. Then yung last, participate in moderate to vigorous physical activities independently in accordance with national and global recommendation for physical education. So yung course requirements natin, first is yung gadget. So kapag mag-synchronous tayo or mag-video tayo, kailangan natin yung laptop or yung cellphone. Then second is video presentation. So dahil PE yung subject natin, so asahan nyo na mag-video presentation palagi dahil para makita ko kung nag-improve ba yung ginagawa nyo or nakukuha nyo ba yung steps or yung mga dapat sundin sa volleyball. Then number 3 is yung pictures, then yung 4 is yung type written output. So sa grading system naman, video presentation 30%, then pictures 25%, then type written output 15%, then yung midterm and final examination 30%. So doon na nagtatapos yung ano natin, yung orientation. May tanong ba tayo sa orientation natin? Guys. May tanong ba?
Wala po, sir.
So, wala naman. So, dako na tayo sa introduction to volleyball. So, volleyball, so introduce siya ginawa siya ni William G. Morgan. Then, noong 1895. So, si William G. Morgan, physical director of Young Men's Christian Association or yung YMCA in Holyoke, Massachusetts. So, Morgan called the sports mintonet. So, yung first name ng volleyball is mintonet. So, until a professor from Springfield College in Massachusetts noted the volleying nature and proposed the name of volleyball. So, the original rules were written by Morgan and printed in the first edition of the official handbook of Athletic League of the Young Men's Christian Association of North America. So, ano ba yung mga basic skills ng volleyball? So, number 1 is yung serve. Then next is yung pass. Then yung third, dig. Then set. And then yung spike. And then yung last is yung block. So yung basic skills in volleyball, number 1 is yung serve. So it is attempt to drive the ball into the opponent's court. So bago mag-rally, so kailangan mag-start muna sa pag-serve. Then second is yung pass. So the ability to prevent the ball from touching one's court by bumping or passing the ball. So, ipapasa sa kakampi or ilalagay kagad sa kalaban. So, next natin is yung dig. So, dig is the attempt by a team to properly handle the opponent's serve or any form of attack. Then, next natin is yung 4. Ay, yung 4 natin is yung set. So, a tactical skill in which a volleyball is directed to a point where a player can spike it in the opponent's court. So, bago mag-spike, so isi-set nung setter. Then yung 5, spike. So, an act of scoring the ball over the net into the opposing court effectively and aggressively. Then, next natin is yung block. So, block, an action taken by players by standing or jumping at the front of the net to stop or alter the opponent's attack. So, makinig pala kayo kasi mamaya may quiz pala tayo. So, next natin is basic rules in volleyball. So, yung players in the team, so the volleyball team has 6 players on the court. So, 3 players are front row players, then 3 players are the back row players. So, team is allowed to use libero. So, yung libero, so siya yung back row player or yung defensive specialist. So, malalaman mo na isang libero yung player kapag iba yung suot niyang jersey sa loob ng court. So, kunwari, naka-white yung mga teammates niya, siya naman naka-black. So, yun. Then, sa contacts naman, so each team is allowed to have maximum of 3 touches. So, before hitting the ball over the net. So, hindi pwedeng 4 or 5. So, yung block does not count as a touch. So, kapag nag-spike yung palaban, then na-block nyo, hindi yung makakount ng isang touch. Then, same player cannot hit the ball twice in a row. So, black doesn't count a touch pa rin. So, yung back row player, so back row players cannot attack the ball front row. So, if they attack, they have to perform the jump behind the attack line. So, sa court, may dalawang part. So, ito yung sa back row and yung front nga. So, yung mga back row player, doon na sila sa line ng pang back. Then, sa antennas naman, so it is allowed to play the ball of the net. So, it is a fault. So, if the ball contacts net outside the antennas. So, the ball has to travel between the antennas or the imagined extension of them. So, when flying to the other side of the net. So, sa in or out naman, so referee calls the ball in if any parts of it hits the line. So, kahit sobrang liit lang nung part ng bola yung tumama sa line, in pa rin yun. Then, ball is ruled out if the ball lands outside the boundary lines, so without touching the opponents. So the ball hits the antennas, any of the net, or cables outside the antennas, a referee stand or poles or the ceiling. So ito naman sa contacting the ball, so players are not allowed to catch, hold, or throw the ball. Then, players are not allowed to hit or block the opponent's serve. So, kapag magsiserve, so kailangan i-dig. Then, attacking ball which is coming from the net is illegal. So, if it has not broken the plane of the net, in other words, the player is allowed to swing the ball when it breaks the plane of the net. So ito naman yung facilities and equipment sa volleyball. So number one is yung ball. So synthetic and leather siya. Then next natin is yung net, then yung post, and then yung antennas. Yung antennas itong may red and white na part. Then next natin is yung court. So ito yung kanina, sabi ko yung mga front row players nandito. Then kapag back row player nandito sa malaking side ng court. So kapag back row player ka, dito ka lang sa part ng back row na court mag-attack. So kapag lumagpas ka dito sa linya, tatawagin ka ng illegal spiker. So next natin is yung player position and rotation. So mag-start sa kaliwa ng trap. So ito yung 1, then next natin is 2 na sa 4, then yung 5 na din. Volleyball. So ito yung mga benefits of volleyball. So sa physical, so develop cardiovascular and muscular endurance. Then improves coordination, balance, flexibility, and body composition. Then lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Then lower body mass index. Then improves hand and eye coordination. So kailangan yung hand and eye natin is mag-coordinate para kunin yung bola or i-attack yung bola. Then improve lipid metabolism, then enhance your reflexes and reaction time. So help improve and maintain bone density, thus help prevent osteoporosis, then help to recover coordination or neuromuscular skills after injury. So sa mental and emotionals naman, so improves interpersonal skill and builds teamwork. So sa volleyball, dahil nga magkakagrupo kayo, so nabibuild yung teamwork, then interpersonal skills mo. Then social interaction and enhance sense of happiness and belonging. Then reduces stress and anxiety. So maraming mga tao na na-stress or nadi-depress. So ang paraan lang nila para mawala yung stress nila or depression is maglalaro ng volleyball or any sports or sasayaw. Then increase self-esteem and improves body image. Then motivation and the drive to succeed. So sa stretching naman or warm up and stretching sa volleyball, so warm up and stretching and cooling down. So a good warm up or pre-workout is something most people skip. So but science says you should make time for it. So if rolling your ankle or tweaking your shoulder is not your goal, so stretching your muscles and joint can make a big difference in injury prevention and sports performance. So bago tayo maglalaro or bago tayo sumabak sa laro, sa volleyball or any sports, so kailangan natin is mag-stretching pa rin. So, para ma-prevent yung injury natin. And, para ma-warm up yung mga muscles natin or yung mga joints natin. So, sa warm-up, so it is very important to perform a proper warm-up before any type of physical activity. So, kahit sasayaw ka lang, kailangan mo ng warm-up. So, the purpose of warm-up is to prevent injury by increasing the body's core and muscle temperature. So, warm-up muscles increase the rate of energy, so production which increases reflexes and lower the time. So, it takes to contract the muscles. Sa stretching naman, so stretching keeps the muscle flexible, strong, and healthy. And we need that flexibility to maintain a range of motion so in the joints. So without it, the muscles shorten and become tight. So then, when you call on the muscles for activity, they are weak and unable to extend all the way. So that puts you risk for joint pain, strain, or yung muscle damage. So sa stretching naman, may dalawang uri ng stretching. So ayun yung static stretch or static stretching or yung next natin is yung dynamic stretching. So sa static stretching means placing a certain muscle or muscle group in a position so where it can be extended for a certain amount of time. So yung hold natin yung isang part ng muscle or ng isang muscle group sa static stretching. So kapag naman dynamic stretching, so it's a movement-based type of stretching. So gagalaw tayo doon. I mean, pupunta or maglalakad or magtatakbo. So it uses the muscles themselves to bring about a stretch. So ito yung mga routine, warm-up, stretching, and cooling down exercise. So sa A natin, warm-up for cardio. So, iba pa yung warm-up natin sa stretching, then iba pa rin warm-up natin sa cardio. So, number 1 is yung jogging in place for 30 seconds. Then, next natin kapag nagtapos na tayo sa jog in place, pupunta na tayo kagad sa jumping jacks for 10 seconds naman. Then, next natin is step sideward back and forth for 10 seconds. Then, number 4 is yung high knee jog for 10 seconds. Then, re-repeat natin minsan ng 3 times. Or yung 3 sets. So sa routine ng stretching naman, to stretch safely, do not following static stretching guide. I do the following static stretching guide. So number 1 is yung try to hold each stretch for 10 seconds. So hindi natin hawakan, so kailangan natin i-stretch lalo. Then do not bounce while stretching. Then stretch slowly to the point of tension, so you should never feel pain. Then focus on your breathing while stretching. Then select stretches that work all major muscle groups. So, kapag mag-stretching tayo, so ito static stretching gagawin natin. So, umpisa natin sa neck. So, neck stretching, so upward, then downward, then right, then yung side or yung left. Then i-twist yung sa neck. So, next natin doon is, di ba nauna tayo sa taas? So, ang stretching natin is pababa. Then, proceed tayo sa upper body stretching. So, ito yung shoulder and triceps muscle. Then, yung hand and wrist. Then, next natin, yung last is yung lower body stretching. So, ito yung quadriceps, then yung mga hamstrings natin. So, ito naman, yung last natin is yung dynamic warm-up. So, ito ang mga kailangan. Ito yung arm circles, yung forward and backward. 10 reps or 10 repetition. Then yung toe touches, yung right and left. So hip rotation like stepping over a fence. 10 repetition pa din. The next natin is yung body weight squat, 10 repetition. Then yung lunges, 10 repetition pa din. So ito yung arm circle. Next natin is yung lunges. Then squats or yung body squats. Then hip rotation. Then yung toe touches. So, doon na nagtatapos yung chapter 1 natin, guys. May May tanong ba tayo?
Sir, i-send niyo po ba yung yung PowerPoint sa GC po?
Oo, isi-send ko. Oo, yes,
Sige.
isi-send ko.
Salamat po.
So, yung sa quiz naman natin, ibibigay ko yung link. So, magla-login kayo. Lolo, ang aga.
Sir, nawalan po ng net.
Mag-quiz na.
Di po, nakapag-join po ako, tapos inano ko lang po. Bali dalawang account.
Okay, sige. So, kapag nakapag-login na, ito yung code, yung 477188. Pakilagay una yung surname, then next natin is yung first name. Dalawa pa lang yung nasa ano natin, si Isorena at si Aberia. So, nasa quiz is si Asuncion, Bombales, Salvante, Batad, Madriñal, Perez, Iya, Solidor, Clarin, Tan, Navarro, Samonte, Fernando, Navaled, so si Enario, Lai, Fabros, Oliva, Senita. So, may habol pa ba? 31 na lahat nandito.
Sir, may habol pa raw po ata.
Okay, sige. Start ko na? Sige, okay, start. Wait lang natin yung mga nagsasagot pa. Yung mga tapos na mag-quiz, pabukas na yung camera para makapag-attendance ng bata. Okay na, sige, print screen ko na. 1, 2, 3. So, pwede na mag-leave. Busy bet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Thank you
Thank
po,
you po,
sir.
sir.
Sir, thank you po. Sige.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.